So one thing that I love about the Fujifilm series is the ability to create your own film simulations. Most of these Fujifilm cameras come with some stock film simulations built into them that kind of emulate some classic film looks. But there's a lot of different ways to create your own, whether it be people have already found some film simulations that they've created that you want to then put that into your camera, or it's you want to create your very own simulations from scratch. You can do that on these cameras. But the question becomes, what happens when you have a preset created by someone else for regular photography that you really love, but you want to find a way to create a film simulation of that? How do you do it? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a photographer and videographer, but more important than that, I'm a husband and a father, and I love taking photos on my Fujifilm. This is the X-T30. I used to have an X100F, but I love taking the photos of my family on this camera because they just come out looking so good. It's a fun camera to use, but most importantly, because I love to be able to use the film simulation. There's a lot of times where I will not necessarily want to edit my photos. I won't want to take the card out, plug it into the computer and edit, and I just want to pull the JPEGs straight from this camera. And by creating my own film simulation that mimics my editing style, I can do that. I can create a film simulation in this camera and just send the JPEG straight to my phone, and it looks close enough to what I would edit for me to be happy. And I thought today would be a good time to show you how to create your own film simulation, because maybe you're like me and you want to create some film simulation that mimics an editing style you already have. So that's what we're going to do today. So to get started, you need your camera. You also need a computer. Now, it is important for me to say that the preset I am creating my own version of is a preset that I bought from another creator. Short Stash is the creator, and I'm using his Stash preset, clean. I absolutely love it. So I did not create this preset in the computer, but I am creating a film simulation that mimics it. So first things first, you need to download the Fujifilm X Raw Studios app. I'll put a link down in the description below. Once you have that downloaded, you're then going to take your Fujifilm camera and you are going to plug it into your camera and make sure you turn it on. So let's do that now. Okay. Now it's important to note you have to have your camera plugged in. The software will not work without your camera. And you want to make sure you have a full battery in there, because what's actually happening is while you're doing the work on the computer, all of the effort is actually being taken in place in the camera. So you're making edits on the computer, but it's then sending those to the camera, and what you're seeing on your screen is what the camera is actually creating, if that makes sense. So the best way to put this is, or the reason why this is so that you get the closest image possible to what it's going to look like coming out of your camera. So your camera is doing a lot of the work. So for that reason, make sure you have a full battery in there, because it is going to take up some battery to do this work. Now, if you plug your camera in and you don't see it pop up, you need to go into the camera itself and change a few settings. So you're going to go into settings, setup, and then go to connection mode. You're going to go to PC connection and then select USB RAW conversion / backup restore. That should allow you to do everything you need to do. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to collect a couple of raw photos that we're going to edit as our trial edits for this film simulation. Now, it's important to note a few things. First off, you need images that were taken on the camera you have plugged in. So for me, I used to use my Fujifilm X100F a lot. I can't use any of those images because I am using the X-T30 as the editor here. So I have to use photos taken on my X-T30. The second thing you want to know is you want to get multiple images, and you want images that have differing looks and layouts and all this different stuff, because you want to create a preset that works in a ton of different scenarios. So find images that were shot inside and outside, images that are of a landscape, images that are of a person, images that are cloudy versus sunny. You want to make sure you get a little bit of a differing element to all these images so that we can test this out and make sure it works in multiple scenarios. And then finally, you want to make sure you get some images that were taken in DR400, because that'll give you the best editing opportunities. So, and if you're not sure necessarily how to find those images, for me, I'll show you what I do. I go into my Lightroom where all of my images are, go up to this little search bar. I'm going to do Fujifilm X-T30. and it'll pull up all the images that I have taken on the X-T30. Now, once I have all these images, the way I can find if they are taken in DR400 or not is to select an image, and then over here in the info section, if you don't have info pulled up, it's a little icon right down here at the bottom. You're gonna look at the ISO. If your ISO is above 640, you should be good for a DR400 image. So once you have that, you pick out a couple images that you want, drag them into a file on your computer, and then we're good to go for the next step. Now I've already selected mine, so we're gonna move on. Okay, now once you have your photos picked out, let's go ahead and go into Fujifilm Raw Studios. Over on this side, you can find your folder, click on that, and you'll have all your photos right there available to you. Once you pick a photo that you're gonna start with, you'll see over here, you have your conversion profile, so you can change all these different settings. You can take an image that you took and completely change it and export it, so you can actually have, maybe a different preset that you wanted to use but didn't use. You can do that. So starting off, you can go in and change all these things up, right? We can change the color, we can change the sharpness, we can change the white balance shift, all these different things. But what I want to do is I want to edit this image to look like the preset that I used in Lightroom. So I'm actually going to pull up my Lightroom, and I'm going to find this image. Okay, so now that we have the two images lined up next to each other, I'm gonna start just working on this edit and try to get my edit to match what I'm seeing over in Lightroom. So to start, I'm gonna choose the film simulation. I'm gonna go with classic chrome. That'll bring a little bit of desaturation into it. We're gonna keep the grain effect at weak. White balance as shot. I'm gonna do my white balance shift. I'm gonna bring it into, let's go red. I think we're gonna do a little bit more red, a little less blue. Yeah, that looks close. I'm trying to look at the colors. I think we need to bring the color down a little bit and the highlights down a little bit. Shadows could come up a little bit, maybe a little more. Oh, wrong way. That's why I wasn't looking right. Too much. I guess it was right where it was. Sharpness, we'll bring that down a little bit. Noise reduction, we are going to bring the noise reduction up. So it's just playing around with it, trying to get it to where it looks similar to the image you've created in Lightroom. So this is close enough for me for right now. It's obviously not perfect. You can definitely see some differences in the greens and everything like that, the softness of the light. But we're going to go with that for right now. Once you have it to where you want it, you can then hit save and you can create a profile name and then save it, and you'll see it up here. Now, I already have mine. This is the stash preset. It's the exact same that I've already done. It was the exact same for what I just had. So once you have that done, you can then go into other images and see if that preset works on those same images. If not, then you can go back and you can redo it. So go ahead and pop the stash filter on this image, and then we'll pull it up in Lightroom, see if it matches well. Okay, we'll match up. It looks similar. Obviously, I think the edited one still looks better, but it does look similar. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to another image. Let's do this one, an indoor one. Now we're just gonna pop that same filter on there, see if it looks close. Looks a little bit more warm on this one than it does here, but honestly, I'm okay with that. I think that looks good. I don't think I would need to edit much there. Let's change and check out another one. Again, it's a little bit warmer. It's not as bright. I could definitely change that up a little bit. So for the most part, that's looking pretty good. So to me, that's the easiest way to create your own film simulation in a way that matches a preset you already have. You wanna make sure you take that image, you put the preset on it, and then you put it up in comparison to the image you're editing in Fujifilm X-Raw Studio, and you just move things around until it matches close enough for your liking. Now, I will list down below my preset and what I use. I will also link Short Stash and the preset that I bought from him so that you can see what preset I'm using when I am editing the photos on my computer, but also what the recipe is for my film simulation that I use in my camera. And they're close enough to me. There is a difference. You can tell a difference, but they're close enough to me for in the short while, I'm okay with it when I just pull them off my camera into my phone. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like this video, please do hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already. And hopefully this has helped you, and now you can go out and create your own film simulations for your Fujifilm camera.